Atomic Habits, an elaborate and illustrative summary. This detailed summary of James Clear's Atomic Habits is designed to provide a comprehensive hour-plus review of the book's principles. The core thesis is that getting 1% better every day is the key to massive long-term change because habits operate like compound interest. Part 1. The Fundamentals, Chapters 1 to 3. The book begins by shifting the reader's mindset from focusing on outcomes to focusing on the processes that drive those outcomes. Chapter 1. The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits. Core concept: the compound effect of small habits. Clear illustrates the power of tiny changes using the story of British cycling, which transformed from a mediocre team into an Olympic and Tour de France powerhouse by implementing a strategy of aggregation of marginal gains, finding tiny 1% improvements in everything they did, from bike seats to hand-washing soap. A 1% improvement daily doesn't look like much today, but over a year it results in a nearly 37x improvement. Conversely, getting 1% worse every day leads to nearly zero progress. Results are often delayed, forcing people into the plateau of latent potential, where work feels pointless until the efforts suddenly converge into a breakthrough. Key concept summary: 1% rule. Consistency trumps intensity. Focus on tiny daily gains. Systems versus goals. Your systems, the processes that lead to results, are what matter most. If you want better results, forget goals and fall in love with the system. Patience is key. Breakthrough moments are often the result of many previous atomic habits finally reaching a critical mass. Chapter 2. How your habits shape your identity and vice versa. Core concept: behavior change is identity change. Clear defines 3 layers of behavior change. 1. Outcome: changing the results, e.g., losing 10 pounds. 2. Process: changing the habits and systems, e.g., going to the gym 3 times a week. 3. Identity: changing your beliefs about yourself, e.g., becoming someone who prioritizes health. Most people start with outcome-based habits. I want to write a book. Clear argues for identity-based habits. I want to become a writer. When you focus on identity, the behavior becomes less about achieving a goal and more about proving your self-image. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Key concept summary: the identity shift. Ask, who is the type of person that could achieve X? Then focus on acting like that person. Casting votes. Every time you perform a small habit, e.g., reading 1 page, you cast a vote for your desired identity, e.g., I be a reader. Mantra: your habits provide the evidence that you are the person you want to become. Chapter 3. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. Core concept: the habit loop. All habits are a solution to a problem and follow a 4-step neurological loop. 1. Cue, the trigger, a bit of information that predicts a reward. 2. Craving, the motivational force, the desire to change your internal state. 3. Response, the execution of the habit, whether a thought or an action. 4. Reward, the satisfying outcome which satisfies the craving and teaches the brain to associate the cue with the action. These 4 steps can be mapped directly onto the 4 laws of behavior change, the central framework of the book. Key concept summary: the loop. Cue, craving, response, and reward form a continuous automatic cycle. Leverage. Habit formation is about manipulating these 4 levers to work for you. Freedom. Habits don't restrict freedom. They create it by automating necessary actions, freeing up mental energy for higher-level tasks. Part 2. The first law: make it obvious, the cue. The goal of the first law is to make the cues for good habits impossible to ignore. Chapter 4. The man who didn't look right. Core concept: awareness before desire. Before you can fix your habits, you must be consciously aware of them. Clear recounts the story of Eugene Pauly, a man who lost his memory but could still develop and follow habits due to damage in the hippocampus, illustrating that habits are non-conscious, automatic scripts. To overcome this, use the habit scorecard technique. List every action you take in a day and label it passé or acte. This turns an unconscious process into a conscious one. Key concept summary. Habit scorecard. Write down all daily habits and classify them as productive, destructive, or neutral to gain immediate awareness. Pointing and calling. Adopt the Japanese rail system's technique of vocalizing each step, e.g., I am sitting down to write my report now. To enhance self-awareness. Chapter 5. The best way to start a new habit. Core concept, clarity and timing. Good intentions are useless without a clear plan. 1. Implementation. An intention. Use the time and location cues to make the start of the habit crystal clear. In the formula, I will behavior at time and location. 2. Habit stacking. Link the new behavior to an existing one. This uses the momentum of an established habit as a cue to go for the new one. Formula after current habit, I will new habit. Chain stacking. You can stack a series. After I put away the clean dishes, I will immediately wipe the counter. After I wipe the counter, I will refill the dog's water bowl. Key concept summary. Clarity over motivation. Many people think they lack motivation when they really lack clarity. Habit stacking power. Leverage the routine of your daily life to automatically trigger new positive behaviors. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters. More core concept. Environmental design. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. We are often more influenced by what we see than by what we intend. Design for good habits. Make the cues obvious. If you want to practice guitar, leave it on a stand in the middle of the living room instead of in the closet. If you want to drink more water, keep filled bottles everywhere. One space, one use. Assign a specific purpose to each space to ensure the context acts as a strong, non-ambiguous cue. E.g., your desk is for work only, the couch is for reading only. Key concept summary. Behavior location. Context drives behavior. Change your environment, and habits become easier to change. Make it visible. Display the tools for your good habits prominently. Chapter 7. The secret to self-control. Core concept. Inversion of the first law. Make it invisible. People with high self-control aren't necessarily stronger. They are simply better at structuring their lives to avoid tempting cues. Self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term one. Remove cues. If you want to stop watching TV, put the remote batteries in a separate drawer. If you want to eat less junk food, stop buying it. Remove the cue from your home environment entirely. Clear shares the example of Vietnam War veterans who were able to quit heroin easily upon returning home because their environment, the cue for their addiction, had vanished. Key concept summary. Eliminate exposure. The most robust way to break a bad habit is to remove the cue so the craving never begins. As a gatekeeper, your environment is the gatekeeper to your habits. Part 3, the second law, make it attractive, the craving. The goal of the second law is to increase the motivational pull, the craving, associated with the good habit. Chapter 8, how to make a habit. Irresistible core concept. Dopamine and temptation bundling. The brain is wired for anticipation, driven by the release of dopamine. We crave the feeling of the reward, not the habit itself. The anticipation is what motivates the action. Temptation bundling. Link an action you want to do with an action you need to do. This ensures that the high craving activity reinforces the low craving activity. Formula. After habit I need, I will habit I want. Example, after I run on the treadmill for 20 minutes need, I will watch my favorite reality show. Want. Key concept summary. Craving is anticipation. Use anticipation to your advantage by linking necessary habits to immediate pleasure. Temptation bundling formula. This technique injects immediate attractiveness into habits that have only delayed rewards. Chapter 9. The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. Core concept, social imitation. We unconsciously imitate the habits of 3 groups. 1, the close. Imitate the habits of people who are physically close to us, family and friends. 2, the many. Imitate the habits of the majority, the tribe. We want to belong. 3, the powerful. Imitate the habits of people we admire and who have high status. To make habits attractive, join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. If you want to read more, join a book club. The domestic to fit in, will be a powerful, attractive force for the new behavior. Key concept summary. Group identity. The biggest reward is not fitting in with others, but being accepted by the group. Choose your tribe. Surround yourself with people who make your desired habits easier and your bad habits harder to perform. Chapter 10. How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. Core concept. Inversion of the second law. Make it unattractive. All habits are associated with feelings. To make a bad habit unattractive, you must reframe the way you think about it, shifting the association from a positive feeling to a negative one. Reframing. Change the language. Instead of, I have to go to the gym, reframe it as, I get to go to the gym and improve my energy and longevity. This changes the feeling tied to the cue. Highlight the key. Before performing a bad habit like impulse buying, verbally tell yourself, by spending this money, I am reducing my freedom and extending the time I must work before retiring. Key concept summary. Mindset is marketing. If you reframe a difficult habit as a choice or a privilege, the emotional craving will change from resistance to opportunity. Focus on the long-term consequence. Make the negative long-term result of bad habits feel immediate and unpleasant. Part 4. The third law. Make it easy, the response. The goal of the third law is to make the execution of the good habit simple and frictionless. Chapter 11. Walk slowly but never backward. Core concept, action versus motion. Motion is planning, learning, and strategizing, e.g. reading a book about running. It feels productive but delivers no outcome. Action is the behavior itself, e.g. going for a run. It produces a result. The key to mastery is minimizing the gap between motion and action. The most effective form of learning is practice, not planning. The easier the habit, the more repetitions you will get, and habits are built by frequency, not time. Key concept summary. Action over motion. Spend less time planning and more time executing. Frequency builds habit. Focus on the number of times you perform a habit, not how long it takes to become automatic. Chapter 12. The law of least effort, core concept. Reducing friction and priming the environment. We are driven by the law of least effort, preferring the path that requires the least amount of energy. Reduce friction. Decrease the number of steps required to start the habit. If you want to eat healthily, chop all your vegetables immediately after grocery shopping, so healthy snacking is the easiest option. Prime the environment. Prepare your surroundings ahead of time. The night before, set out your work clothes, open your textbook to the right page, and leave a water bottle and supplements by your bed. This makes the next day's desired action virtually effortless. Key concept summary. Friction is the enemy. The 2 minutes of setup friction often derails good habits. Eliminate them. Inversion of the third law. Make it difficult. To break bad habits, increase friction. Store your video game console in the attic. Delete social media apps from your phone. Chapter 13. How to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule, core concept. Start small to guarantee the win. The 2-minute rule is a strategic simplification. The rule says, scale down every new habit to a version that takes 2 minutes or less to perform. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes. Study for 2 hours becomes open my textbook. Fold all laundry becomes fold 1 pair of socks. The goal is to master the art of showing up. Once you have started, the inertia makes it easy to continue. E.g., once your running shoes are on, you'll probably walk out the door. The first 2 minutes should be the entry ritual for the larger routine. Key concept summary. Gateway habit. The 2-minute version is the gateway habit. Master the start, and the rest follows. Standardizing before optimizing. You must first make a habit consistent, easy, before you can work on improving it, optimizing. Part 5. The fourth law. Make it satisfying, the reward. The goal of the fourth law is to ensure the immediate feeling of the habit is rewarding, overcoming the problem of delayed gratification. Chapter 14. The cardinal rule of behavior. Change a core concept. Immediate reward. The brain is hardwired for immediate rewards. Good habits, saving money, exercising, have delayed payoffs, while bad habits, smoking, eating sugar, have immediate ones. To make good habits stick, you must artificially create an immediate reward. Immediate reinforcement. Attach a small, immediate pleasure to the completion of the habit, e.g., play your favorite song only while you clean the kitchen. Ensure alignment. The immediate reward cannot conflict with the long-term goal. A rewarding a week of healthy eating with a massive binge negates the long-term identity shift. Key concept summary. My only cardinal rule: what is rewarded is repeated. What is punished is avoided. Signal of progress. Use small, immediate rewards to signal to your brain that the habit is worthwhile. Chapter 15, How to Make Good Habits Inevitable and Bad Habits Impossible. Core concept: commitment devices and one-time actions. The best habits are the ones you don't even have to think about. Clear advocates for commitment. Devices: one-time difficult decisions that lock in future good behavior and prevent future bad behavior. Automate. Automate savings withdrawals, set up auto-pay for bills, and use apps to block distracting websites. These one-time choices pay off again and again. Commitment devices. Use pre-commitments to control your future actions, e.g., giving a friend money that you only get back if you complete a task. Key concept summary. Automate everything. Turn good behavior into an inevitable outcome by using technology and single upfront decisions. Chapter 16, How to Stick with Good Habits Every Day. Core concept: habit tracking and the never miss twice rule. Habit tracking is essential because it provides immediate visual satisfaction. It works on all 4 laws. Q reminds you to act. Attractive, you don't want to break the chain. Easy, checking a box or marking an X takes seconds. Satisfying, the visible chain of progress is instantly rewarding. The never miss twice rule is the secret to recovery. Missing a habit once is an accident. Missing it twice starts a new negative pattern. When you slip up, ensure the very next day is a win to maintain your identity as someone who shows up. Key concept summary. Visual evidence. Tracking progress is itself a satisfying, reinforcing habit. Recovery plan. When life intervenes, accept the slip-up, but prioritize getting back on track immediately. Chapter 17, How an Accountability Partner Can Change Everything. Core concept: inversion of the 4th law. Make it unsatisfying. To break a bad habit, its consequences must be immediate and painful, not delayed and abstract. Accountability partner. Find someone who will watch your behavior and administer a penalty if you fail to show up. And habit contract. Formalize the penalties by writing up and signing a contract that outlines consequences for failing to perform a habit, e.g., paying a fine, performing a highly unpleasant task. This ensures the bad habit delivers an immediate, unsatisfying cost. Key concept summary. Public pain. Make the cost of your bad habits public and immediate to overcome the brain's preference for delayed negative consequences. Part 6. Advanced Tactics, chapters 18 to 20. These chapters focus on long-term sustainability and mastery. Chapter 18, The Truth About Talent, When Genes Matter and When They Don't. Core concept: maximizing opportunity. Genes matter because they predispose you to certain talents and personalities. The key is to find the area where your unique talents and interests give you an advantage. Find a game where the odds are in your favor. 4 stages of exploration. Use the explore versus exploit trade-off. Spend initial time exploring different hobbies and skills, then exploit the area where you see the greatest progress and joy. Questions to ask: what feels like fun to me but work to others? Where do I get greater returns for my effort than others? Key concept summary. The right fit. Habits are easier and more satisfying when they align with your natural aptitudes. Don't fight your genes, align your habits with them. Combine skills. You don't need to be the best at one thing, be exceptional at the intersection of 2 or 3 average skills. Chapter 19, The Goldilocks Rule. How to Stay Motivated in Life and Work, Core Concept. Peak motivation requires optimal challenge. The Goldilocks Rule is the point of peak motivation, working on tasks that are just barely beyond your current abilities. This moderate challenge is where you enter a state of flow, being completely absorbed by the task. Embrace boredom. The secret to long-term success is learning to fall in love with boredom. Professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way. Once a habit is mastered, it becomes automatic and, frankly, boring. To continue improving, you must embrace the repetition and seek continuous, small increases in difficulty. Key concept summary. The Goldilocks zone. Maintain motivation by finding tasks that are 4% above your current skill level. Commitment to practice. The greatest differentiator is the ability to show up and do the work even when it is not exciting or rewarding. Chapter 20. The downside of creating good habits. Core concept. Reflection and review. The danger of powerful habits is that they can lead to complacency or habitual drift, where you perform the action automatically, but stop paying attention to small errors or outdated systems. Scheduled review. Implement a reflection and review system. Once per month, quarter year. Ask, am I still casting votes for my desired identity? Are my current habits moving me toward my long-term goals? Keep refining. Success is not a destination, but an endless process of refinement. Never stop making small, atomic improvements to the system itself. Key concept summary. Continuous improvement. Habits must be constantly monitored and adjusted to prevent mistakes from becoming ingrained. Goalless thinking. Focus on building a system that delivers continuous improvement forever, rather than a single endpoint. The second life. Every habit has a first life, performance, and a second life, review and reflection. Both are necessary for mastery. Thank you for listening and subscribe to my channel for more summaries and self-help books.